Good morning, Essential Chat followers. Dr. Cindy here, and I thought I would start this right here because this bird, of course, as soon as I start talking, I hope you can hear this bird. Already able to see the little baby geese this morning. They were so cute. Anyway, I had a chat yesterday about stress, and I've had a lot of feedback about that, and so there will be definitely more info on that to come. But just one quick thought for today regarding stress is we've all heard of the fight or flight thing, right? So when we think about the human experience and what we really need that for, what it was designed for is an acute stress situation. So, running from a bear, for example, and the body doing everything it needs to do to make us like superhuman so that we can flight, right? We can get out of the way. And the problem is in today's society, the stressors are not like a bear or a saber-toothed tiger or whatever coming after you. It is long-term stuff. So that's what we're really going to be talking about later this week. But right now I just want to talk about another essential for me. And a lot of you have been sending me your essentials, which has been really fun looking at those. And I appreciate that feedback. What I want to talk about as far as another one of my essentials today is movement and exercise. So movement is of course super important. Exercise is more what you would call specific types of movement, let's say. But let me just throw this out to you. Some of you might not be aware that I had my first pregnancy when my son was, I think, 26 weeks along in the pregnancy. I started hemorrhaging. So that ended up, long story short, in just under 3 months in the hospital. So I'm talking not just bed rest, but bed rest in the hospital because it was that serious. And much of the time I was not allowed to get out of bed at all. And if anything, I was allowed to get out for maybe once a day for a sit bath, shower, or to use the commode. So let me tell you from experience, I do know what it's like to have lack of movement. And the pain that I experienced in my body at that time from not having movement was intense. And it's really something I've been thinking about writing about for quite some time now, and probably now is the time. And what that experience showed me was that not only is exercise important, because I'm someone who's very sensitive to discomfort in the body from not exercising, which I'll talk more about later, but how important movement is just to get around and moving. And so you might experience this in the morning when you first get out of bed. You might feel a little stiff or maybe even achy. I hear this from people a lot. And you'll notice as you get moving throughout your day, you feel better. Part of that is what I'm talking about. Our body is mostly water. And we have the fascia, which flows through the fascial tubules, because fascia is like a straw, hollow center. And there is a liquid crystal substance flowing through there. And what happens to water that is stagnant and doesn't move? It doesn't look so good, does it? In fact, I'm going to show you right here what I'm talking about. So this is one end of our duck pond. I don't know if you can see that green through the trees there. That is water that does not have movement. Okay, so look at how it just is there. I mean, there's no movement. All that algae is growing on it. There's no oxygen flowing in that water. So what happens is that it's just, over time, can even become stagnant, smelly. It's not nice to be around or in, right? So think of our bodies as being liquid, fluid being and needing movement to stay functional. And it's just like a well-oiled machine. Like, to keep our parts moving, we have to move. So movement is super important, and special types of movement or certain types of movement that incorporate all parts of the body are also really important. So if you are moving, you might say, oh, I'm an active person. I do things all day long, or I have a routine that I'm active. consider that there might be parts of your body that don't get as much movement. So when you sit a lot, for example, there's tightness in the front of the hips. And even if you do certain activities, even if you have a job that is active, there are certain movements typically that we're doing that are repetitive. And so there are other parts of the body that aren't getting that same movement. So just some food for thought. Movement and exercise is definitely an essential for me. And boy, do I feel it when I don't get enough. So love hearing your thoughts and what's essential for you. Looking ahead this week into more about stress, movement, and exercise. Enjoy this beautiful day.